What's up, gang? Duncan the Highlander here, rocking a slight little afro, as you can see. I'm making a video in direct response to Aikido Samurai's whole page and his whole video. He's making a series of videos basically answering the question of how Aikido can be developed or changed so that it could be utilized in a MMA or in a real world situation. Real quick, I, from 18 to 21, trained in Hapkido. Now, Hapkido is the Korean way to say Aikido, and it is a derivative of Aikido once Aikido was brought to Korea, and it's basically a fusion of Aikido with Taekwondo. Now, the reason why that's important is in Aikido, Aikido was originally developed as a way for samurai to be able to fight other samurai once they lost their sword. So you see a lot in Aikido, you'll see a guy coming at you with a big strike like this, like this, like this, even though they're barehanded now, but that's because that's mimicking a sword strike. All martial arts are perfect for what they're developed for. Now, Aikido is developed as a martial art for a man without a weapon to fight somebody specifically with a samurai sword. That, I think, is the key that people need to realize with Aikido. With that in mind, Hapkido now takes those concepts, the concepts of center control, and brings them into a more well, in Korea, they had a really strict law with weapons for hundreds of years. So in Korea, there was lots of time where people were just good at Taekwondo, and there's a lot of fists that you have to compete with. So in Hapkido, you find that rather than you see this big sword strike, there's still a large motion, but instead you see this big, they'll have their hand in and they'll step and punch with this large lunging front punch is what a lot of martial arts call it, right? Now, the reason why this front punch is so important is because it's still using the same concept as the sword strike from Hapkido, but the difference is they're using a punch, and the reason why you're stepping is because the idea is to try to get them off their balance and keeping their momentum going while they're throwing a strike at you. Now, this is really, really difficult. This is what the runner of Aikido Samurai has figured out when he was trying to spar. Now, some of the main things that I'm realizing is that to utilize these sort of skills, number one, you have to be a very high-level Aikido or Hapkido practitioner. Number two, all of these are reflexual, all right? So you can't be, if you watch this video, and I hope you do, go to his page, you'll notice as he's sparring, now I've done a lot of sparring, especially if you're just starting to spar, it's hard for you to try to work these in. But he's anticipating, right? And he's trying to time it as it's coming in. That's hard to do, even if you're just trying to work a hook or any sort of simple punch technique, right? You got to kind of feel it. You have to know, and also you have to kind of allow things to happen reflexually. If you want to see this beautiful Hapkido, Aikido throw off of a punch, it's going to happen, number one, nowadays everyone's shifting their stance, so it's going to happen off a step. You have to wait for the person to step towards you and really commit themselves off of their center line. You see in that video, he's fighting somebody who's throwing out little jabs, staying on their weight. They're not giving him anything, so he's not gonna be able to pull them forward in that way, number one. Number two, the other time that it's gonna be some sort of a opportunity is gonna be in a clinch situation where there's a push, right? A push or a pull, or potentially there might be a chance to use, if we have somebody who might be good at Aikido and utilize some Wing Chun techniques, potentially when there's a high guard, that's gonna be another opportunity. When they have their covering up against the cage, bring their hand down, and maybe somewhere from there's going to be an opportunity to move them off their center line and get them into a throw. This is just a nice, quick little thing. I'm going to post this right now. I hope you guys give me a comment right down below, and like, comment, share. This is going to be, like I said, in direct response just to Aikido Samurai's page, and trying to figure out ways that we can make Hapkido and Aikido more practical in martial arts. This is actually, I'm really inspired by this because this is actually what I believe is the future of MMA, is this, this gap, this chain wrestling, chaining techniques, and keeping your opponent off their balance as they're trying to strike you. But yes, we'll see. Thank you. Peace.